and welcome to Gerety Talks. My name is Lucion Guy and I am the co-founder of the Gerety Awards. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for our weekly episodes where we chat with some of the marketing and creative industries through changemakers. I'm very happy today to welcome our guests who all belong to the Havas network in different parts of the world. So we have today Laure Florence, Executive Creative Director from Havas Health You in Brazil. Laure Ayel, Head of Global Intelligence and Innovation in Havas Creative Group in the US. Martín García, Global Head of Innovation and Strategy for Telefónica in Havas Media Network in Spain. And Serena Abbvie, Creative Director at Havas UAE. So welcome and thanks for joining us today. So as I mentioned in the intro, you're all part of Havas Group, which was founded in 1835 by Charles-Louis Havas. It is one of the world's largest global communication groups with more than 22,000 people in over 100 countries sharing one single mission to make a meaningful difference to brands, businesses, and people. So let's start by introducing yourselves. Can you tell us more about your role and what are the biggest challenges that you're facing today? Who would like to start?
I'm happy to start. Oh.
Go ahead.
You want to go first?
No, please go ahead.
I'll go. Hello, ladies. And thank you so much, Lucia, for having me and this group with you today. But yeah, I'm Laure Ayel. I'm Head of Global Intelligence and Innovation for the Havas Creative Network. My job is to work, with the global community of strategists and planners and data analysts that we have across our agencies and across all those different, markets, countries, and give them access to the best practices that can be methodologies, tools, data, and insights. Really, the goal, my team is working every day to equip them with almost like a strategic toolbox to help them attack new client briefs or, new business pitches. And I'm based in New York, but my team sits in the US, London, Paris, Madrid, India. So I work with people from all around the world and all around, the network and our creative agencies. Hello.
Thank you. Serena, would you like to go on?
Sure. So yes, I'm Serena. I am a creative director at Havas Dubai. I've been at Havas for close to 5 years now. I've been a creative director for 2.5 out of these 5. I think we all know what a creative director does, so I guess I won't explain my role, but I can talk a little bit about the challenges that I personally would say I'm facing. I think I find that the creative and advertising landscape has changed over the last, say, 10 years with the introduction of social media in the marketing landscape for brands. And that has severely crunched timelines and the work that we have to do for clients. So, I mean, back in 2008, for example, when we had clients in an advertising agency, we had months, for example, to work on a campaign versus now where we still have, we have less than months. We have a few weeks to work on a campaign, but also in parallel, we're churning out content for social media because social media is much more immediate, and all the different platforms and the different touch points that we have to communicate and reach our audience just makes our work, we just have to be a lot more multitasking now and a lot more quick in turning around content and storytelling. So that's one challenge. The other challenge is in this region particularly, it's a region that's very proud of its traditions and its culture. And there are a lot of sensitivities that when we try to bring a very innovative idea, because obviously what we want to do as creatives is always try to outdo ourselves. And be more creative with the next campaign than we were with the previous one, often we may find that, you know, some clients are reluctant to be daring, to try something different because we don't want to upset anyone. And so while we're asked to be innovative, we often find ourselves presenting 3 ideas, a safe one, a semi-safe one, and a daring one. They end up choosing ideas 1 or 2 and not 3 because, oh, but let's just, you know, let's just be safe. So it's always that, oh, but oh, they want something new, they want innovation from you. And then we find that there's a little bit of fear of innovative ideas. I don't know if it's across the board, but at least it's what's happening here. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't want to like over talk.
So I'll go next because I'm going to build up onto what Serena was just saying. I sit in Madrid, but I do work globally because I'm global head of innovation and strategy for the Telefónica account, which is one of the global clients, one of the biggest global clients that the Havas Media Network has on the network, right? And because the headquarters are in Spain, that's where we sit. And I do work globally everywhere where Telefónica is. My team sits in Hellmann or in different places in Spain. I work with people in Germany or in the UK, so all over the place mostly, right? And what I do for them is to lead the knowledge and the most strategic conversations that are actually relevant, turning up into the pop culture or the society we're living in, and that may affect one way or another the business of the client, right? It might be affecting the target, or it might be affecting the use of technology or the perception of technology, whatever it is, right? And I wanted to go after Serena because when you were talking about the challenges, it's quite similar where what I face here every day, because my role is essentially to look at things differently and to bring new perspectives to the table. And that's exactly what our boards and what our clients are demanding. But that's easier said than done, right? Because so many times we find the teams in their comfort zone, so it's difficult for the teams to embrace doing things differently or thinking differently, or okay, I have a great idea, but then how does this come to life? And then that's difficult, and then I just leave it aside. And also because many times they get discouraged because, like Serena was explaining very well a second ago, well, clients demand a lot of new thinking and creative ways to impact their consumers, but then when the moment of truth comes, they are not as innovative as they think, or they are not as brave, or simply they're just not as agile as they think they are, and then we lose the momentum of the thing. So because many times we are able to promote innovative ideas in a certain way, but then it takes a lot of effort and time and resources. And then when we are ready to go to market, then somebody else did that before us. So, and it's really frustrating for the teams, right? So yeah, I'd say that's a common challenge, I think, Serena, or at least it is for me.
Good to know.
I think it's my turn. Hello. Thank you, Lucia, to invite us for these conversations. Sorry, sometimes you're gonna hear an airplane or my cats, but this is life. I'm Laure Florence. I'm Executive Creative Director from Havas Health You Brazil, São Paulo. And sometimes I'm Executive Creative Director for North America. So I'm part of the North American group of Executive Creative Directors. And I'm also a co-founder social startup that calls More Girls, that aims to increase the number, visibility, and value of creative women, and also incorporate places when women are minority and minoritized. So my biggest challenge is to be true of these two challenges. I'm also executive creative director, but I'm also an activist. And I believe that people have to have life and not just work. So the work and life balance, I think is the biggest challenge, because clients press us so much for short deadlines and a lot of ideas, and also innovative ideas like Serena and Anna said about that. And at the same time, they don't want to spend a lot of money of a big group of people. So it's part of our culture to work so much. And I'm trying to break the circle. And this is my biggest challenge. And also, I believe that when you talk about guts to do things, we also thinking about people. So another challenge is how to convince people to be more courageous. Not only the clients, but all inside the agents. I felt that if you go like more like a very consistent group to make sure the client understand why we are trying to make an approach different, a different approach, sometimes, or maybe you're gonna be more successful than just like creative department. So I believe that's not a good idea without a good insight, and not a good idea will survive without a very good strategy before them presenting the idea. So another challenge to make sure that all the group is going to the one direction, and to make sure the clients understand that the risk he's gonna take, or they're gonna take, it's not so risky because we have a lot of arguments to give to them. So that is my biggest challenge.
Okay, so that's a lot of things to consider, I guess. And
But what I love, just to, because I think and I've been talking about it with my teams and, you know, people around the network. I think, you know, the idea of almost like the old system, you know, when things were changing less rapidly and the speed of things was, you know, not as pressured, you know, on the teams and on creativity or strategic solution or development of work or brand experiences. I think, you know, the new speed has to make us learn how to, you know, how everybody's looking for the KPIs and metrics of success or the performance of the work that we do. And we always talk about the return on investment, right? ROI. I think there is a little bit of our industry, our teams, our clients have to almost like shift a little bit of, you know, the way we think about it, and think of the return on courage, you know, or like return on innovation, you know, return on what are we going to learn through a new process or a new way of attacking a new thing, or talking to consumers through a new channel or, you know, social media platform. And I think making that, you know, almost like a partnership to go learn and experiment, be at the pulse of, you know, the things changing so fast, but experimenting new things together is, for me, it's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity, right? It's ourselves also reinventing the way we work internally with our teams, the way we work with our clients, and the solutions that, you know, creative solutions we bring to the world. So I like thinking about it in those terms. You know, that helps making it a bit more positive, and also keeping that open for, again, the new, what's coming next, and what's going to be the next new thing.
so yeah, basically having a return on other things, many other things than only the investment. And you all mentioned about everything going fast and all these changes going on. So talking about challenges, you have an internal publication, which is Dare Magazine. I was having a look at your latest issue, and there is an article where one of your global CCOs at Havas Health You says, "I reject the notion that software will replace me." So everybody's talking a lot about AI and many things that are coming up. So how has your creative work changed with the development of new technologies? And what do you think about AI? Do you use it? Do you like it? You're scared of it? Tell me a little bit about that everybody's talking about.
Okay, I can go, I guess. So I agree with this global CEO's quote. I refuse the notion that they will replace us. I definitely, though, see them as support. And the more I get to know the new AI technologies, because it's very hard to keep up, the more I believe that we can learn the best way that we can optimize our use of AI. So for example, with Photoshop Beta, and this is just like one example, I know that my art director can now do something within seconds when it took him hours or half a day. So in that sense, yay. And in that sense, you can see AI is supporting us, not replacing us. Using ChatGPT to brainstorm ideas, using ChatGPT to think with us, yes. Using ChatGPT to create copy, no. I know some copywriters do that. I refuse it because it's like there's fluff. You can feel like a machine that has learned all the beautiful words has just vomited these words in in like a rationale. And maybe because I'm like very picky, I can tell when my copywriters have been lazy and they've just asked ChatGPT to write like a deck copy for them. So I'm still all for humans creating and humans doing the work, but using AI to support them in the process, whether it's creating images for a storyboard, or as I was saying, Photoshop Beta, removing things, adding a background within seconds, or ChatGPT to think with us. So that's my take.
Anna, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I totally agree. I was just going to explain it with other words, but I do think they are all the generative AI that I'm also seeing, which is really quickly changing and everything. We need to see them as great tools to help us do our job. And what I find is that they might help you think together, and also they're very useful to ignite sometimes ideas. If you're with a block or in a dead end, then you can use them to ignite the further way through or inspire. So, but the good thing about this, and that's why I totally agree with the CEO, I'm not afraid at all. It's because when you come to look at their outcomes closely, they are like a dead fish, right? You cannot see life in their outcomes, meaning that they will never, or at least never, as far as I know yet, never is a big word, but they will not replace our way of thinking in the way that what I've seen, every outcome, it's too plain, right? It has only one side of the story. So most of the time, what you get out from these tools, it doesn't have different perspectives, or it's not based on lateral thinking, which is what humans do, right? The great ideas, connecting strange pieces of information that sits somewhere in the world or somewhere in your mind are actually, or firstly, very far away, and then you suddenly click and connect. I don't see AI doing that now. I don't know in the years to come, but it's not doing that now. So it's not replacing our creativity or the might that we have into relational thinking. It's not, and also it's not replacing the ability that we are very specialist within this network and within this industry to feel and grasp the pulse of the people, the insight, why we do the things we do. I don't think any tool so far, any AI tool is so far doing that. They're just helping, right? That's just my my take on that.
I agree and disagree. Because I think we have to see the scenario with a lot of perspective. I agree with our CEO that his job's not gonna be replaced because he's the CEO and he can use AI as a tool. But if you're thinking about junior places that do executions a lot, probably we're gonna like substitute them for AI. For example, in Brazil, we used to do not only creative, but we have inside of the same agency, the media and the creative part. So part of my team, for example, it's executions of a lot of pieces of for example, digital campaign. So like some of the juniors, copywriter and art directors just need to take the concept and put in different formats for the media. I think in 2 years, I'm not going to have this department anymore. So I believe for junior places, we're going to substitute them. But for senior roles, it's going to be a tool. And I think right now that we have to learn how to work with AI. For example, I questions a lot. I'm this kind of person. So the first time I received a mail for the corporate that said that we can use AI, I reply back and say, this is crazy because the world is going to that directions. And I receive an internal communication for our agent that said that we're not allowed to use AI because we're gonna put our data, clients' data or clients' informations in risk. And I think it's more risky to lose all this knowledge. So I wrote back and make a lot of confusions. I'm a lot of this person because I believe there's already a tool and you have to use this tool to be faster, not more creative, only be faster. And I believe with you and we are creative, but sometimes I use like last year's, I have a funny story to say. I did a script and I have to do a script for 60 seconds. And the script was 64. And I have to reduce. And I said, I'm going to ask ChatGPT to reduce. And I put there like with a prompt, very simple prompt, like reduce this script in a 64 to 60. And the machine returned me back a very shitty copy. And I said, please do like, and I put a name of very famous copywriter here in Brazil. And he returned me back with a lot of like adjectives, they're not nice. And I said, no. And I try again with different name. And I didn't like it also. And I put with my name. And he returned the way I want.
Oh, wow.
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 So
Oh, that is scary.
It's a funny story how to use.
That's a mark of success though, right? Like AI knows you so well, you are so talked about on the internet that it was able to write the way you would.
Yes, and also I think our job is to teach and artificial intelligence to be, for example, more with quality, because sometimes you guys to start GPT 5 names of big copywriters and give my 5 men's.
Yeah.
And all the times I give like a bad feedback for ChatGPT. This is a bad list because you have to include this and this and this. So maybe he knows me because of that, because I fight with ChatGPT a lot. So, but coming back to the team, I think artificial intelligence, it's gonna be like computers. When I start, we didn't have a computers. Now we can live without a computers. Artificial intelligence is gonna be the same, but we don't. You can't buy like the best computer in your table and then you're gonna have the best creator. It's not work like that. But if you don't have the best computer, you're not gonna have the best creator. So, and I believe like junior roles not gonna exist because we're gonna be able to do everything with artificial intelligence. Sorry.
Oh, that's an interesting take to say it that way. And yeah, we are talking a lot also about meaning and purpose. And Laure, you have been driving the relaunch of Havas Global Meaning from Brands study this year. Can you please tell us more about these projects and the key findings of the research? I was having a look and there are some shocking numbers, like 72% of people tired of brands pretending they want to help society when they just want to make money. And 68% feel the world is going in the wrong direction at a global level. That is very discouraging. Please tell me something better.
I'm going to try to make it more positive because, by the way, I think that's an opportunity again, getting those stats. Another one that we look at actually year after year is that 75% of brands could disappear tomorrow and consumers wouldn't care.
Wow.
So that's like, nerve-wracking, right? What are we doing here? So though, if you turn the question, and that's really what the Meaningful Brand Study is about and the methodology behind it, is asking yourself the question or with your clients, how can you be part of the 25% that do matter, that, people cannot live without, right? Like, what do those brands activate? What type of experience, what type of messaging, what type of product do they bring to consumers that make them so meaningful, that creates such an impact in consumer lives? And so that's what the Meaningful Brand Study is about, right? It's understanding those opportunities, understanding what the most meaningful brands are doing today that connect the best with consumers. And, it has been a study that we have run for now, I think, 15 years, and it's across all countries, all sectors, more than, 2,000 brands. And we know that there is a lot of reports, that our industry, our competitors, other agencies produce all the time to look at trends and, understand the relationship between consumers and brands. But I think, and we are proud of thinking that Meaningful Brand was the first to start linking brand performance with human well-being. So again, what is that meaningful impact in my life? And just in very short, explanation, how we do that from a methodology standpoint. And it's pretty simple. We actually track brand performance across 3 main dimensions. And the first one is what we call the functional benefits. And that's, what a product does, the quality of the coffee you drink, functionality of the smartphone you buy, the price. So that's what we call the functional benefits of a brand. Secondly, is what we call the personal benefits. So how a brand, answers my needs, make me feel something, understand who I am as an individual, customize my experience based on, where I'm from and what I do, and fits within my lifestyle. And the third, category of benefits that we track are what we call the collective benefits. So how does a brand align with my values, has a positive impact on the world, the environment, the economy, the culture at large around me. So we track, the Meaningful Brand Study tracks all those 3 dimensions across actually more than 35 different attributes. And we see how consumer rank brands and say what matter the most to them. So that's a very good, almost barometer for us to understand and help our clients become that meaningful brand, that part of the 25%, which we hope will grow more and more in the coming years and with the work that we do.
I believe it's a great news that the brands is going to disappear, because give us argument that you have to be different. You have to do something different. We can do advertise the way we used to do. We have to stop to be brand oriented and more people oriented, what they want about their fears, their desires, what they want about the world. So I think when we have a study like this, and we prove that the way you do advertising have to change, it's great news.
Yeah, and you were also talking in the beginning about clients that want to be innovative but are not bold enough. And Anna, in your role of Global Head of Innovation and Strategy, your bio says you're always looking for new opportunities to connect with the consumers in the technological and social revolution that we are currently living. So I was curious about learning more about this revolution and also what role you think innovation plays today in companies.
Well, society is ever changing, is ever evolving, right? It's not a new idea, it's not a new thing, but it's true. And some of my colleagues here referred to it before, that in the last years, this has changed at a quicker pace, like an amazing quicker pace, right? So I think in the industry, we need to be quicker too, and especially we need to hold the pace with the people and what they're doing, because they're evolving much quicker than brands are doing. And we are caught right in the middle, right? So we get the pearls, but it's difficult for us to get the clients and the brands to actually realize about these things, right? So now we see and hear things like, I don't know, for example, Gen Z, they don't talk anymore. They just send pictures and they understand, they're having a conversation. So that way, why are we still doing advertising for them, telling this and the other, and they have to read if they don't read anymore? They just send pictures and stuff like that. Or I don't know, now we see the seniors are emerging and dominating the fitness scene. So why are we still keeping the senior clusters at bay, like they don't exist in the market anymore and stuff like that? And so we have to, I don't know how to do that really, but we keep on trying to get our clients and therefore the results of our work into a more meaningful way of contacting them throughout advertising, right? So if, I don't know, but for example, last year in Spain, many more people saw the New Year's Eve programs on a gaming platform that's Twitch, rather than in linear TV, right? So why spend money still on the linear TV, the most expensive ad of the year, right? If, you know, your target's not there, they're doing something else, somewhere else, right? Or I don't know, many people are, some brands are already asking their consumers to generate, sometimes with artificial intelligence tools, fake stories that we can use for social media posts, and so they can develop fake stories that are happening with their brand, and they're interacting with their brand, and then you can use it for your social media, saying this is AI generated by this or this other person, like Fendi did with their bags, or Maybelline has just done with their eyelash mascara and everything. That's just great, because you're being meaningful with the people, what they want, what they're living in, but still we are settled for, you know, the 30-second TV spot, and then we'll take it from that and see what it gets. When it gets us, right? So that's what I was saying, that innovation was the key conversation, right? Because it's tricky. Our clients demand innovation for us. Within companies, they really, the innovation role is key, but it's tricky at the same time, because it needs commitment, it needs resources, it needs to be top down, right? We need the boards to believe in that. So you need people that are actually sponsoring and harnessing the innovation within companies, and help the teams to actually go from pure creativity, which is like having great ideas, into turning these ideas into something real, and how to bring these ideas to life. That's really innovation that's going to be moving us forward, because we need to keep our advantages, our competitive advantages, or create new ones. Because like I said at the beginning, the world's moving so fast, no company can stay still. So innovation should be paramount to every company, but it's difficult because it needs commitment, right? And resources. And the last thing I think is key in this role of innovation is that we need to define what is innovation for each one of us, right? What's innovation for your client, or what's innovation for us within the agency, or what's our target group going to think that innovation is, right? Because sometimes we waste a lot of time and energy for, and Serena was just talking about that, for many great, super innovative ideas that are no end, because we're just not in the same page as the client, or they're not actually going to see that, or to be brave enough, or we're not getting enough innovation to some clusters that are far away from us, right? So I think it's a key role, and it's a tricky one, but nonetheless exciting and very useful, I think.
Yeah, we did have some great and innovative campaigns recently in Gerety that we announced our winners. And talking about awards and juries, Serena, you were part of the Gerety jury in Dubai this year. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
It was very cool to see, because I just before, I think about a month before, I was at the Ades and I was judging the casting category. And it was nice to see a lot of the work that I'd seen at the Ades also in the Gerety entries. I saw a lot of really interesting and impressive work. What was different from, you know, judging other award shows like Cannes or Ades was I tend to see that this is, although we have amazing women in leadership positions globally in the network, I still feel like this is rather an industry that's more male dominated. And I'd never been in a room with so many impressive women all at once. It was intimidating and inspiring at the same time. So I was like, oh my God, she's ECD there. Oh my God, she's TCO there. Oh, she's the head of strategy here. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm just like surrounded with women who are a lot smarter than me and who are all like saying really interesting, insightful comments to the work. So it was just really exciting and really inspiring to be surrounded with so many smart women. Yeah, it was just a really good experience. Yeah.
And Laura and Laure, you were also part of the jury some years before. Do you still remember a little bit about how your experience was at that time?
Yeah, I can. Oh, you go first.
I remember that was the first time we have the all-female group together. And like 5 years ago, it's very different than now. We are starting to discuss the importance to have like women in the jury. We didn't have, for example, in Cannes Lion 50-50 yet. So it was very like interesting because the worry that the group has was completely different to any other award.
Yeah, of course. But what's funny with me, ladies, is that I was on the Gerety grand jury, I think in 2020. So in the middle of the pandemic.
Okay.
I received an email from Joe Brooks, like I think right before, like 2 weeks before the lockdown. And I was so excited. I was like, yes, I'm gonna, go meet, I was obviously in New York. I think there was some sessions happening in the US. I was like, this is so exciting. And then we were in lockdown and no one could travel. Everyone was staying at home, trying to understand how to work, in front of their laptop for days and days and days. So, I ended up actually not having that great experience of like coming together and the conversations and the discussion. It was a bit more like on my own. So very weird, but weird times in general at that time. What I would say is that actually, it just helped me feel connected with the industry at the time where we felt so isolated. So that's, looking at the breadth of the work and knowing that other women, were doing the same, and that we had that approach together to celebrate great creativity through that lens was very exciting for like from a connection standpoint and almost like philosophical standpoint, but the practice was not exactly the same as everyone else and the other years that came after that.
Cool. Yeah, let's hope those weird times don't come back at all. And a last question for all of you: what kind of campaigns or topics would you like to see rewarded at creative festivals in the future?
As a creative and as person that leads brands, we need to do something about the world. I think historically brands do a lot of damage with the word. For creating stereotypes, for making us to consume things that we don't want. And I believe we have the same power to make a world better. So I think we should like celebrate brands and campaigns that do that. So this is one of the campaigns that I want to make, to win a lot of awards. So because if you win awards, we're going to encourage a lot of other brands to do the same, to thinking about not only about their product, but the world they are inside of them. So this is my wish. I don't know if it's gonna happen.
I agree. I think in this day and age, in this time that we're living in, if brands or if creativity is not going to serve the greater good, it's doing something wrong, because right now there's a high level of wokeness among everyone, maybe perhaps less at my parents' generation, but still the likes of me are educating our parents, and Gen Zs are educating me, millennial, to the point where I think it is high time that brands use their notoriety and their fame, the fact that they are known all around, like their power, to do something about the problems that the world is facing. Do something meaningful, actually. Otherwise, just shut up. Sorry.
Building on that, I'd say I'd like to see more awards to campaigns from brands that don't lie, that stay true, right? Because it's not only through the stereotypes and the power that we have with advertising that we can also change the way we see ourselves, and we see how society is evolving, and we can be a mirror to that and even leading that. But it's also that, and we've seen that with the Meaningful Brands study that Laure was explaining before. People is not annoyed with brands because you're earning money. They're annoyed with brands because you don't do good for me or for the collective, right? So it's fine. Brands doing well by doing good, but show me the good. Show me how you're doing good for me or for my community or for the environment or for wherever it is that comes in line with your company purpose, but make it work. Don't lie. Don't convince us and harness us into believing what's not like that anymore, talking about stereotypes, or into pretending that you're actually the hero of the story that you're not, right? Try to be the hero for real and then come to advertise it. So be true and don't lie, because people are not stupid, right? So I think those are the campaigns I'd like to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think exactly to that, the demand on brands to be transparent, but also committed is exactly what we see, just because we're talking about it in the Meaningful Brand study. And I think that's what the work and the creativity that will come next in the future, I think is the one that will move those break those stereotypes, move those lines, and get into, making the world better for the collective, but also for the individual themselves. I was just looking at a stat, but 60%, more than 60% of our respondents say that they are being the change they want to see in the world. And I think that's what brands should embrace, like helping individuals, consumers, people to change the world they think it should be changed, like being the enabler and being the inspiration for it. So I think that's, exciting times. Things are not easy. The context is difficult. The pressure is there on a lot, on, financially on brands, financially on people, but also culturally and politically. But I think there is an opportunity to do better, to make that meaningful difference, together with our clients and create those brand experience and those brands expressions in a more meaningful way. So let's hope we'll get there. Yeah. Pushing one step after the other. It takes time and effort, but that's exciting.
Okay. So let's hope for the best. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your experience, careers, thoughts, and life with us. And best of luck with all the projects that you carry on. And let's hope we have a more meaningful and better world soon.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thanks.
Thank you.
García.
Thank you so much.
You all.